All right, if I can have everyone's attention, we'll get started with our post-race press conference here at Michigan International Speedway. We welcome Kasey Kahne, driver of the number 5 Farmers Insurance Chevrolet, who finished third in today's Pure Michigan 400. Kasey, talk a little bit about the race out there today.
Oh man, there's a lot that went on for us. We had a really good, awesome Farmers Insurance Chevrolet at the start. Tracked down Mark Martin, who was hung up behind a couple slow guys, and I thought I might as well try to pass him and then try to pass those guys because Mark was just, I don't know if he was really tight behind him or just cruising behind him, but either way I wanted to get by those three. And next thing I knew, the 47, the 42 were crashing, and Mark was in there, and so I slid into it. You're just going so fast, there wasn't a whole lot you could do, so we all kind of went sliding through there. I slid through the grass and thought it had to destroyed my car, but fortunately it just pushed the right front fender in. The guys were able to pop it out and go from there, and we came back to third. So it was solid, solid day, solid recovery. Fortunately, thankfully, that when Mark Martin slid down pit road, he ended up halfway in our pit, and one of our guys got hit a little bit by a tire, and thankfully he didn't come any further into the pit, but his oil tank exploded, I guess, and stuff. So that was really close to a really bad situation, but it turned out all right, and we're all lucky for sure. Good job, Brad.
Joining Kasey now is Brad Keselowski, driver of the number 2 Miller Lite Dodge, who finished second in today's Pure Michigan 400. Brad, talk a little bit about your experience today out there.
Get this a little closer here. Just a great day. I don't know what to say other than I was this close to getting what would have been one of the biggest wins of my career, and man, that would have been really special. But it wasn't in the cards today. My team's done an excellent job over the last few weeks of, hitting their marks and executing on all fronts, no mistakes, and solid cars. And I'm very proud of that. Just extremely proud of that. We're in a great position as a team as the chase is about to start here to make some noise, and I'm just feeling lucky to be there. But then, of course, we obviously want to win, and I can taste the legitimacy of being a championship contender, and with a little more speed, I think today we could have got us a win, and I know in the chase we can get us a bunch of them. So I'm just proud of where we're at and ready for the chase to get going, but a little bit more speed, and man, I feel like we could have had it today, so it's hard not to think about that, but a great effort by my guys to get us where we were, and I'm very, very proud of that.
Okay, we'll open it up for questions. We'll take questions down here for both gentlemen, then we'll go upstairs. We'll start in the back with Stan.
Stan Creekmore with RPMtonight.com. This is for both of you. With Friday and Saturday being so different in weather than today was, how well did you adapt at the very start of the race to the track being so different?
Go ahead, Kasey.
We felt pretty good yesterday in final practice, and but I was a little bit tight and thought we'd free up a touch, so we did, and it wasn't enough. I was kind of tight when the race started today, but when the sun was out, I was sliding kind of all 4 tires, so it was, it was just, the track was just a little bit slipperier today. The speeds were a little bit slower, but not a ton. When there was cloud cover, I felt like it was pretty similar. So, for us, it was small changes, and the car stayed really close.
I felt the track was pretty consistent, actually. My car drove very similar.
Okay, we'll take one up here from Terry.
Terry Blaney, ESPN.com. Guys, is this a new era at Michigan here? I mean, for years, cars got spread out here, long green flags run, not a lot happened. Wow, all kinds of things happen out there today. Wrecks, guys getting mad, wild restarts. I mean, is this new pave and the way this track is now, is this what we're going to see? Is this a different Michigan than it used to be?
Well, I'd say we're all fighting for a small piece of pavement right now. So fortunately, the track actually opened up a good bit today from the first race, which was nice. But the restarts are still really tight, and there's you can make up the most ground right there or lose the most. So it's it's a tough point of the race, but you just try to do the best you can there. And I think as this track goes, I think by the time we come back next year, it's going to even be better and wider. And I don't think it'll take a real long time, and we'll be racing all over the track like we used to. But either way, it's smooth. They did a great job repaving, and I enjoy coming up here. I've always enjoyed coming here, but I like the track how it is now, and I think next year it'll even be, a little bit racier than what it is now.
Brad, did you want to address that?
Well, I just think there's big discrepancies in the cars right now. I think that there's certain parts and pieces that are on the cars that are making them quite a bit different, to where we're seeing different paces throughout the field. I think there's probably a half a dozen to a dozen cars that are drastically faster than the rest of the field, and that's disrupted the parity and created a lot of side-by-side action that is maybe good, maybe bad. I don't know. It depends on who you are, but I think that right now in the sport, the cars are perhaps the most separated than what we've ever seen. I think you look at qualifying, the pace difference between the pole and 20th was over a second. We haven't seen that in over 10 years in this sport. I think there's a major pace discrepancy now. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, but that's just an observation to your note, and that creates more side-by-side racing, which opens up the possibilities and potential for issues like you described.
Okay, we'll take a question here from George, and then we'll go up to the press box for questions.
George Poley, the Macomb Daily. Brad, the last 2 weeks, you've been a very gracious runner-up. Once the chase starts, you get to Chicago. Our second place finish is going to cut it for you, or,
Sure, that's a good question. If anything, you should be more upset now about not winning than even so in the chase, because those bonus points mean a lot for the chase. Where consistent solid place finishes without risking a bad day probably means, whoa, damn. That's the first time I'd seen that.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Said it just sliced right into the car.
My God. But consistent days and finishes in the chase are extremely important. So, you'll probably be happier with second in the chase than what you would even be here today. That's kind of my opinion on that. But this is my home track. I want to win here just as bad as I want to win a race in the chase, probably more. So there was a stretch where I felt like we were going to win it. I had some goosebumps going on. But, it wasn't meant to be, and I'm still very proud of the effort.
All right, we'll go to the press box for questions.
Monty Dutton, Gaston Gazette. Brad, when you had the lead, but 8 or 9 laps to go, what was your situation? You had to know that holding off Johnson was going to be a really tough task. And you're going to do the best you can, but did you think you had a really good shot, or did you think you were just a sitting duck?
I didn't know how much Jimmy had been holding back, and when he pushed the trigger right there when he passed me, it was clear that he'd been holding back a lot. It's hard to know those things. You never know how hard a driver is pushing. But obviously he wasn't going 100%, and when he did, he was clearly the class of the field. So that was quite a sight to see.
Next question from the press box.
Nate Ryan, USA Today. For Brad, during that green flag pit cycle, the last one, when you were able to go ahead of the 48, even though you were 2 seconds behind going into the pits, Jimmy Johnson and Chad Knaus were on the radio just totally beside themselves trying to figure that out. And I can tell with your smile that probably means a little bit to you. Do you feel like...
I don't know what you're talking about, Nate.
Was that a statement for you today? I mean, you talk about how your team has really stamped itself maybe as championship contender today. Is that a big part of it? You guys kind of snookered the 48 a little bit today?
Well, the 48 has the most speed and the best history as far as the chasing is concerned. But it's my job to not roll over and give it to them. And we're doing everything we can do, and we nailed it on that last green flag sequence. And I'm proud as hell of my guys for doing that. And although they might have the most speed, we're not giving up. And we're going to make them, we're going to keep them honest through this chase. And that's our goal. And I think it's good to know that they're frustrated, because they should be. We nailed it. And hopefully while, they keep working on the other things, we'll find that little bit of speed to go with the execution we have. And be in even better condition to close the deal out. So we just got to keep pushing in that sense. We caught a lucky break that was unfortunate for Jimmy with him not getting those bonus points for a win, but he definitely deserved to win the race. It just didn't play out that way. But, the 48 might be the favorite for the champion, but we're not going to roll over and just let him have it.
Next question from the press box.
Lee Spencer, Fox Sports for Kasey. Can you take us through the wreck and what was going through your mind and what the crew had to do to get you back into position to be a contender? Should I repeat that for you, youngster?
Yeah, sorry about that. We were having a conversation here,
Yeah,
Lee.
I could tell. Take us through the wreck one more time, and then what your team had to do, what they executed to get you back into contention for the race.
Well, the wreck, I was in third when Mark caught the 47 and the 42, and I was a half straightaway behind him. Got into second, reeled those guys in a hurry because Mark was held up so bad by the two in front of him, but Mark must have been tired or loose or whatever, but he was really struggling to get to the inside or the outside of those guys. So I got there and I thought I would try to pass Mark, and then about that time the 47 just got loose from what I could see. I don't know, maybe the 42 was I'm not sure if they touched or not. It was hard to tell, but the 47 started spinning, and then we just all tried to miss it. And I slid through the grass, didn't injure the car too bad, just a little bit right front damage, which the team did a nice job of pulling out. Mark took off towards our pit stall and exploded into that wall. And from there, we just battled back. We fixed the right front. We had good pit stops. We had a nice strategy to get back to pass some of those cars, not all on the racetrack, pass them in other ways. And I just felt really good about our speed. Our car's been really fast, and we've been pretty consistent as a team. And that's what we want to make it to the chase. That's a big part of our season, and big. Something that we're really shooting for, and I think our team's done a great job of that. So we put another solid day together, pulled away a little bit into 11th there, and it'd still be nice to get one more win and make that chase spot a lot more, just make it happen. But we'll see. We have some good tracks to go still, so we just need to keep running up front.
Okay, final question from the press box.
Dave Hackenberg from the Toledo Blade. A real quick one for Brad. A minute ago, you looked up and you said, "Oh, geez, my God," but we couldn't see what you were looking at. I presume it was the Martin crash?
Yeah. It could have been a lot worse than it was. And
Yeah. Okay, I just wanted to make sure that's what you were looking at. Thanks.
yeah, over the course of time, we always get complacent and think that we've hit all the buttons on the safety side, and then you see something like that shows you why you have to never quit working at making these cars and tracks safer. Because that could have been a lot worse, whether it was for Mark or for the crew members or anybody. So it's just one of those moments where you realize that, you might think that you have safety covered in this sport, but you never do.
All right, we'll come back downstairs. I know we have a question over here to our right. We'll get a mic to you.
If2 Oakland Press here. That's for Brad. Does it give you any more of a sense of satisfaction, getting back to the Jimmy issue, that you were with Hendrick and then you went to Penske? Some people said, how's he going to do there? Are they going to be able to be to the standards of Hendrick? And now you're racing neck and neck with Jimmy every week. Does that enter your head at all? And with that, not just Jimmy, but the whole organization, that you're contending with that team after you left?
I try not to. It's a terrible way to live your life where you live it looking back at, missed opportunities. I'm trying to live it where I look forward at the great opportunity that I have now. I can't say I always do that. I'm going to say that there's definitely moments where you ask yourself what might have been. But I take solace in the fact of knowing that I probably would have never had the opportunity to work with guys like Paul Wolf and other guys that are on our team if it had gone another way. And I feel entirely thankful for those opportunities. Those don't come but once in a lifetime. And, I guess the thought enters your mind that it was never meant to be, and this was what was meant to be. And that makes me feel very fortunate, and that, there was some higher calling in a way. But it's hard to always reflect on that, especially when you're struggling. But I'm not struggling now, so it's easy to say.
All right, do we have any final questions for Kasey or Brad?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll take one right here for Mike real quick, and then that'll be our final question.
You're struggling, and you're like,
Yep.
Brad, I wanted to follow up on what you were saying about the cars having an advantage, 6 or 7 of them or something like that. It was something you could see, I guess people were listening, we were listening on the radio to several drivers talking about that. It's sort of maybe embarrassing to ask it in front of one of the guys who may have whatever the trick is, but do you have the trick? What is this trick? We talked about it at Pocono. We talked about it at Indianapolis. There's something going on, like you said. What is it?
Well, there's parts and pieces on the car that are moving after inspection that make the car more competitive. Some guys have it, some don't. There's a question to the interpretation of the rule, to which Penske Racing errs on the safe side, because we don't want to be the guys that get the big penalty. Now, obviously there's a question to the interpretation that as of right now it's legal, but I'm sure that Roger doesn't want to be the one caught red-handed if that's to change. And as a group at Penske Racing, we have not felt comfortable enough to risk that name and reputation that Roger has over those parts and pieces. Others have, which is their prerogative, and I'm not going to slam them for it. But it's just, it's living in the gray area, and Roger doesn't do that. There's certainly some performance there that we've lost, or I shouldn't say lost, but haven't gained, because we choose not to do that. And that's something that we have to continue to evaluate every week that goes by that those components are permitted to be run. We have to make, a reevaluation of that internally to decide if that's the right way to go. But as it stands now, certainly that's part of the speed discrepancy through the field. Some of the teams haven't figured out how to make it work, and some of them just don't feel comfortable risking the piggy bank on it. And it's part of how this sport works behind closed doors, and we're still working our way through it. And I'm not saying I have all the answers to it, but it's certainly a part of that discrepancy that we were speaking to earlier.
Brad, Kasey, congratulations on your runs today, and good luck the rest of the season. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.